Yeah, good morning. So, as we know that we are studying space science, open IIT course for non-DG batches. We are discussing about unit number 2, solar systems. So, in unit number 2, in solar system, there are various subtopics, namely nebular theory, formation of a solar system, solar wind and nuclear reaction, the source of energy. And in today's class, we are going to consider sun and planets. So what we are going to be study from this topic, sun and planets. So we are going to study the formation, we are going to study the characterization, and we are going to study its properties. So from this topic, sun and planets, we are going to study its formation, how it's grow, and how it's emitting radiation. For example, sun. If you are going to consider a sun, so we have to know the formation of the sun. So this formation, as we already learned from the nebular theory. So how the sun formation will be takes place, that we have to be see. Then the characterization. The characterization is nothing but the history about the sun, that we have to study. And finally, its properties. Properties is nothing but we are going to define the parameters. For example, shape. What is the shape of the sun? Size. What will be the size? And the period of revolution. So the period of revolution all about is axis. So the distance sun to the planets. So these things we are going to be study from this class. So let's begin our class with a slide. Objective. So what is the objective of considering the universal source called sun? Nothing is more important to us on earth than the sun. As we all know that without the source from the sun, there is nothing possible. Without the sun's radiated energy, the sun's radiated energy is the heat or a light. Heat energy as well as the light energy. Without the sun's heat and light, the earth would not be lifeless ball of ice coated rock. So it should be just like a lifeless ball, just like an ice coated rock. So if there is no radiation, from the source of sun, then the earth would became like a lifeless ball, just like an ice coated rock. The purpose of the radiation, the source of sun radiation is just to warm or sea, stirs our atmosphere, generates our weather patterns, and gives energies to the growing green trees, that provide the food and oxygen for life on Earth. So in a simple way, we can say that without the importance of the sun, there is nothing is possible in the earth. So here is a beautiful quote from the Beatles. Here comes the sun, and I say it is all right. So with this, we start our session. First, we are going to study the history behind the generation of the radiation from the sun. As we all know that the sun is the heart of our solar system. The sun is our heart of solar system, and its gravity in which keeps every planets and particles in orbit. So without the gravitational force of attraction, without any gravity which present in the universe, all the objects will undergo the collision. All the objects will undergo the collision. Definitely there will be the distraction takes place in the universe. So the sun is the heart of our universe. Its gravitational force of attraction keeps the planets and the particles to be orbiting in its particular path. As we all know that the sun releases a constant stream of particles and magnetic fields. Electromagnetic radiation. The electromagnetic radiation emitted from the source of sun. Electric as well as the magnetic field of energy exits from the source of sun. So the sun releases a constant stream of particles. Particles is nothing but we can consider electron, we can consider a neutron, we can consider proton. So these particles we have learned from the second content of this unit, that is from the nuclear reaction. The sun releases a constant stream of particles and magnetic fields. We know that the sun is the largest object in the solar system. It's a biggest planet in the solar system. So it contains more than 99.8% of the total mass of the solar system. The sun is a huge object. Its mass is around 99.8%. So in a Greek word, we can called sun as Helios. And in Rome's, we called it as Sol. Sol means solar. So these Sol and Helios are the representation to represent the name of God. So in the ancient period, to represent the God, they have used the word Helios and the Sol. So they followed the sun as the God in that ancient time. So from this slide, we are just learned that sun is the heart of the solar system. Sun is the largest object in the solar system. Sun releases a constant stream of energy from its core. That energy is radiated throughout the universe. Sun contains more than 99.8% of its total mass in the universe. So these are the just general things, or we can consider these as a history. in our topic. How the sun is formulated, how the sun is formed. As we all learned that the sun is the mostly made up of two light gases. The sun is made up of two light gases. They are hydrogen gas and helium gas. So here, in the formation of the nebula, a newborn star, so to the formation of the nebula, to create a newborn star, we have to consider two light gases which have a low density elements, hydrogen and helium. Here the hydrogen is a 70% and the helium is a 28%. The remaining are the metallic particles around the space. For example, we can consider gold. So with this combination, we are creating a newborn star. It's called nebula. See, the sun is mostly made up of two light gases, hydrogen gas and helium gas. Due to nuclear reaction, so nuclear reactions are two types, as we all know: nuclear fission reaction and a nuclear fusion reaction. So here, the nuclear fusion reaction is the base for the generation of the radiation from the core of sun. We are not going to consider the nuclear fission reaction, but we are going to consider only the nuclear fusion reaction. What is this nuclear fusion? Nuclear fusion is the bombardment, collision between the two light nucleus. Bombardment between the two light nucleus. Light nucleus in the sense low density element. That is example hydrogen and helium. When hydrogen and helium collide with each others, when hydrogen and helium reacts with each others, they will exchange their energy. That exchanged energy radiated in the form of heat. So due to thermal reaction, the hydrogen fuse with the helium, which are resulting in the nebular formation. So the nebular formation is the just creation, the sun creation, first stage. So these changes slowly over time as the sun converts hydrogen to helium in its core. The sun is more than 100 times larger than the earth. So from this slide, we are learning that sun is made up of two light gases. They are hydrogen and the helium. So these hydrogen and the helium fuse with each others due to nuclear reaction. That reaction called as nuclear fusion reaction. So as a result, we are getting the nebular formation. So due to this reaction, nebular formation takes place. And by stage, the formation of the sun will complete. The complete formation of the sun will takes place then stage by stage after the formation of the nebular star. As we know that the size of the sun is huge. Here the sun is more than 100 times larger than the earth. So this is for the formation. So to explain the formation, we are considered the parameters: hydrogen and the helium. Hydrogen 70%, helium 28%. The remaining are the dust particles available in the space. So these all combined with each other, dust with the gaseous cloud combined with each other, undergo the reaction. That collision reaction are called as a nuclear reaction. Here the nuclear reaction is the fusion reaction. Fusion means these are two lighter particles collides with each other, resulting in the huge medium. Bigger particle. Two lighter particle collide with each other, results in the bigger particle. So that bigger particle is the sun. So the sun is created from the nebular growth. The nebula is the initial stage. The sun formation. So here in this slide, we are going to see the various stages of the formation of the sun. The first stage is the dark cloud. As I already informed that the nebular is the first stage. So this nebular formation takes place due to the presence of the gaseous cloud with the dust particle. See here, the formation is formed due to the presence of the dust particles and gas in the surface of the space. So the nebular formation is only due to the presence of the dust particles. Dust particles is the metallic elements, the element which available in the space. This element collides with the gaseous substance. That gaseous substance, here we have taken the hydrogen and the helium. So these hydrogen and helium are the low density material, so they will attract each other. So that's why we have taken that they are available in the surface of the space. Due to the gravity, it behind to shrink. So due to the gravity, these particles collides with each other and started spinning just like a disk, as we seen in the torsion pendulum. The disk will rotate. So in the rotation in the torsion pendulum, it's called as the angular momentum. So here, these dust particle along with the gaseous particle collides with each other. They undergo the momentum. That momentum seems to be a circular one, just looks like a disk formation. So this is the first stage. The second stage, this gravitational pull makes this particle to collide with each other, and it creates a small tiny region at the center of the sun. So a core is created, a small dot is induced due to the collision between these two gaseous particles with respect to the gravitational pull. So the gravitational collapse is the fundamental mechanism for structure formation in the universe. So the gravitational collapse is nothing but the force of attraction. That attraction makes the dust particle and the gaseous medium to collide with each other. So it results in the formation of the small nebula in the universe. So this from this slide. The formation is from the presence of the dust particles and gas in the surface of the space. Due to the gravity, it begins to shrink, collide, and state functioning, that is spinning just like a disk, looks like an angular momentum. That is due to the angular momentum. This gravitational collapse is the fundamental mechanism for structure formation in the universe. It is attracted due to the influence of its gravity, which tends to draw the matter, that is a material, inward towards the center of the gravity. So the force of attraction which makes the particle to attract each other, that attraction makes the formation of the nebula star, that is a newborn star. See here, this will be the third stage. The first stage is the dark cloud. The second stage is the gravitational collapse. The third stage is the protostar. So what is this protostar? So this is a protostar. It's called as the second stage of a newborn star in the nebula. So once these nebula formation takes place, on further, due to the gravitational pull, so what happens? The molecules, that is the parent molecular cloud, they attracts more due to the presence of the gravity at the center, which develop its size. It becomes a bigger one, and it seems to be in a highly dense, and its core became hot. See, the third stage is the protostar. The third, actually from here, it's a third stage. But once the nebular formation takes place, the next stage to the nebular formation is the protostar. The protostar is a newborn star in the nebula. Is a very young star gathering mass. Actually, the nature of the protostar is to gather, is to attract all the molecular gases present in the universe along with the dust particle. When the nebula contracts, it will develop. Actually, the size will be increased due to the attraction. Then it becomes more density, and it becomes hot. That's why we are saying that at the center of the sun, that is at the core, it becomes highly density and hot. So these things happens only due to the collision mechanism, due to the nuclear fission reaction. The fourth stage is the Taurus star. So the Taurus star, it's also a young star. It further attacks the molecular cloud to make more density mass with creating more internal temperature. So what happening here? We are considering the dust with the molecular gas. So this molecular gas collides with the dust particle, then they form a small core. So the size of the core on further increases due to the force of attraction. On further, due to the force of attraction, the size of the core further developed. So, and it becomes more density with hot. So this will be the fifth stage as per our consideration in the formation. So this stage, it's called as pre-main sequence star. So pre-main sequence star is a star when it has not yet reached the main sequence. So it means that the complete formation of the sun is not yet over. The complete formation of the sun is not yet over. It is an intermediate stage. We can say this as a moderate stage. So in this stage, it start attracting the dust particle with the molecular cloud, and also it starts inducing the radiation from the core. It also inducing the radiation from the core. So this part, it's called as the pre-main sequence star, and the final part, it's called as young stellar system. So this young stellar system, already I have said that the stellar means we are just using these for the solar. Stellar means solar, the young solar system. So this young solar system is formulated only due to the presence of the protostars and pre-main sequence stars. So these are all the various stages in the formulation of the nebular growth. That is a sun. See, dark cloud is the first stage of the formation. Gravitational collapse is the second stage of the formation. Protostar is the third stage of the formation. Tertiary star is the fourth stage of this formation. Pre-main sequence star is the fifth stage of the formation. And finally, we are getting the young stellar system, that is a center star. So this center star is nothing but we are named this as our huge body in the solar system. It's called sun. So these are the various stages in the formulation of the sun. Now let's see the characteristics of the sun. So there are many characteristics in the sun. The first characteristic is the shape. The shape of the sun is nearly a perfect sphere. Here it exhibits two differential rotation. The sun exhibits two differential rotation. The two differential rotation, one is the core rotation and the second one is the outer surface rotation. Here, the outer layer of the sun exhibits differential rotation. One is the equator rotation and the second one is the polar rotations. The size of the sun, the shape of the sun is a perfect sphere. The outer layers of the sun exhibits differential rotations, namely equator rotation, polar rotation. Equator rotation means surface rotates once every 24 days, nearly 25 or 26 days. 25.4 days, so nearly 26 days. Polar rotation, the rotation once takes place ever in the 36 days. So at the equator, the surface rotates once every 25.4 days for the equatorial rotation. And for the polar rotation, the surface rotates once every 36 days. See here, these rotations differ from each other because of the diameter. See here, its equatorial diameter and its polar diameter differ by each other. That the difference is only 6.2 miles. The rotational difference in the outer layer of the sun, it's only nearly 10 kilometers, that is 6.2 miles. Actually, we know that the sun is not a solid. The sun is not a solid body, just like an earth. Because the reason the sun induces the temperature. The sun creates the radiation. So the radiation which induced from the sun shows that the material, it's not on a solid medium, just like an earth. Similarly, we can say that all the gaseous planets in the universe or in the solar system, they are not a solid body. So from this slide, we are just studying the shape spherical, and we are studying the outer layer. So the rotation, we are having two types of the rotation from the outer layer of the sun: equatorial rotation and polar rotation. Equatorial rotation means surface rotates every once 26 days. Polar rotation means surface rotates 36 days. The difference between these two rotations is nearly 10 kilometer, that is 6.2 miles. Sun is not a solid body because it inducing the temperature. all the gaseous planets in the universe, all are not a solid body. So here from this slide, we are going to say that the sun's core is highly extreme with the temperature. The sun's core is highly extreme with the temperature. It means that, as we know that, the formation of the nebula, it's only with respect to the dust particle and the gaseous cloud. So these dust particle and the gaseous clouds interacts and collides with each other due to the friction and the gravitational force, which makes the center medium, which makes the core to be highly extreme hot medium. So we are calling these, the sun's core is highly extreme with temperature. The temperature is 15.6 million Kelvin. The temperature is 15.6 million Kelvin, and the pressure arised is around 250 billion atmospheres. So we are discussing about the center point. We are discussing about the center point of the sun, the core of the sun. The core of the sun is highly extreme with the temperature. The temperature is in the range of 15.6 million Kelvin, and the pressure emitted inside the core is in the range of 250 billions atmosphere. As at the center of the core, the sun's density is more than 150 times that of water. So the core density is very large than that of the density of the water. The sun's power is produced by the nuclear fusion reaction. As we already mentioned that we are discussing the nuclear reaction. Here we are having two types of the nuclear reaction. One is a nuclear fission and another one is a nuclear fusion. But for the generation of the electromagnetic radiation from the core of sun, the reaction involved is the nuclear fusion reaction. So the power generation, it's only with respect to the nuclear fusion reaction. It is of about 368 millions megawatts. So the power is very, very huge at the center of the sun. See, the sun core is highly extreme with the temperature. The temperature is a 15.6 million Kelvin. The induced pressure is a 250 billion atmospheres. Sun's core density is more than 150 times that of water. The power generated, it's due to the nuclear fusion reaction. The generated sun power is in the range of about 386 billion megawatts. Next, so in each second, about 700 lakhs tons of hydrogen is converted to about 695 lakhs tons of helium and nearly 5 lakhs tons of energy in the form of gamma rays. So due to this collision, due to this nuclear fusion reaction in the core of sun, nearly 7 lakhs tons of hydrogen, it collides with the 6 lakhs 95 tons of helium and with the 5 lakhs tons of the energy. So they collide and they react and they formulate in the form of gamma rays. So we all know that the gamma ray is the ionizing electromagnetic radiation. It's an ionizing electromagnetic radiation. It takes place from the radiative decay. It takes place from the radiative decay of atomic nuclei. It consisting of a shorter wavelength of electromagnetic radiation with highest photo energy. Highest photo energy is nothing but the just a light energy, the highest photo energy. So during the collision, the energy is released in the form of gamma rays. The gamma rays radiation is the ionized electromagnetic radiation. So this takes place from the shorter wavelength with high photon energy. This takes place also from the radioactive decay of the atomic nucleus. As it travels out towards the surface, so from the center of the core, the generated energy will come out to the outer surface of the sun. So as it travels out towards the surface, the energy is continuously absorbed and re-emitted at lower and lower temperatures. So what happens at the center of the sun core, the temperature is very large. The temperature induced is very, very high, huge. When it transmitted from the center to the outer core, by stage, the temperature will reduces. The temperature will reduces, and finally, when it reaches the surface, it is a primarily visible light that we are able to see through our naked eyes. If the temperature emitted from the core, if suppose it's exit out, it's highly impossible, then there will be no any human creature in the world, in the earth. So the temperature will cut off by stage process, and finally when it reaches the surface, it becomes a primarily visible light. It becomes a primarily visible light. See here, for the last 20% of the way to the surface, the energy is carried more by convection method, not by the radiation. See here, the generation is 100%, but the emission, the final reach to the surface of the sun, which is visible, it's only the 20%. So the 20% of the sun radiation only we are just focusing. With that help of this 20% of the sun radiation only, we are just making our day-to-day life with more generations. So the energy which radiates it from the core of the sun is by the convection method. As we all know that the stages of the heat transfer. Basically, there are three modes. The heat will be transferred from one place to the another place. First one is conduction. Second one is the convection. And the third one is the radiation. Here, the energy which was exit from the core of the sun is not the radiation process. It's completely the convection process. So due to the convection process only, we are seeing the radiation at the surface. I am talking about the surface. So from the center core to the surface, the radiation exit in the form of a convection method. So the convection is the transfer of the heat. Convection is the transfer of the heat from the gaseous substance. So these things we have to be noted. So here we are discussing about the radiations. We are discussing about the energy transmissions, and we are discussing about the percentage of the energy which was reaches the surface of the sun. So this energy reached, it's only carried out by the convection method, not by the radiation method. And finally, here we are able to see the structure of the sun. So basically, we are going to consider 4 parameters in the structure of the sun. First parameter is the photosphere. The second parameter is the hot spot. The third parameter is the chromosphere. And the fourth parameter is the corona. So they are the basic parameters to define the sun formation and also to explain the radiation emitted from the surface of the sun. So the surface of the sun emitting the radiation, but the generation of the radiation, it's from the center, from the core. So how it happens and what its process, let's see. The surface of the sun, it's called the photosphere. The surface of the sun, it's called the photosphere. It is at a temperature of about 500 and 800 Kelvin. It is of the temperature about 5800 Kelvin. The second parameter is the sunspot. The sunspot are always seems to be in a cooler region. The reason, a very large regions of about 50,000 kilometer in dia. We can see that there are a lot of spots. So these spots are in the range of the 50,000 kilometers dia. The temperature is 3,800 Kelvin. Here in the sunspot, the temperature induced is in the range of 3,800 Kelvin. It caused only by not well interactions with the sun's electromagnetic radiation. So as we all know about the interaction between the dust particles and the gaseous molecules. So when the gaseous molecule cloud and the dust particle interacts with each other, then only it undergoes the formation of the nebula. So in some cases, what happens, the interaction will not be fulfilled. There will be just a missing of the interaction between these gaseous particles and the dust particle. So it makes a small dots, small spots in the surface of the sun. That small spots are called as the hot spot. So these hot spot are not interacts with the core, not interacts with the core of the sun. A small region which lies above the photosphere, it's called as the chromosphere. The first stage is the photosphere. The second stage is the hot spot. The third stage is the chromosphere. So this chromosphere lies above the photosphere. And the final stage is the corona. The highest or the highly region above the chromosphere, corona, extends millions of kilometers into space, but is visible only during a total lunar eclipse. So the time of the lunar eclipse, solar eclipse, we can able to see these corona was extended millions of kilometers into space from the sun. The temperatures of the corona is about 1 lakh Kelvin. So these is the just a characteristic of the sun. And the final slide and the final thing from this lecture is the properties. So here in these properties, we are going to study the profile. The profile is the diameter of the sun, total mass of the sun, the temperature induced and the temperature circulated from the sun, shape of the sun, size of the sun, period of rotation about the axis, period of revolution, and the distance of planets from the sun. So these be the properties of the sun. The profile is the first parameter. Here in the first parameter profile, we are discussing about the diameter. The diameter we have mentioned here, and the mass is also mentioned here. The temperature, as we have already learned. Then the shape is the sphere. We can also call as the hot plasma, or it looks like in a round. a spinning ball of gas. It's nothing but a spinning ball of gas. Size. So we are just studying the size in terms of a radius, in terms of a diameter, and in terms of circumference. In terms of circumference that we have mentioned here, the radius is in the range of 432 450 miles. That is, in terms of kilometers, we can say that 696,000 kilometers. In the terms of a diameter, 1.392 million kilometer. In the terms of a circumference, 4,366,813 kilometers. So these are the parameters for the size of the sun in terms of radius, diameter, and the circumference. The next parameter is the period of rotation about the axis. So the sun rotates on its axis once in 27 days. Then the period of revolution, the revolution takes place once every 250 million years. Then the final parameter is the distance of planets from sun. Mercury, 57.91 million kilometer. For Venus, 108.2 million kilometer. For Earth, 149.6 million kilometer. For Mars, 227.9 million kilometers. For Jupiter, 778.5 million kilometers. For Saturn, 1.434 billion kilometer. So the parameter has changed here from the Saturn. From million, it changes to billion. For Uranus, 2.871 billion kilometers. And finally for Neptune, 4.469 billion kilometers. So these the parameters which we have to be studied for to define the formulation of the sun. So here this parameter is considered under the properties. So these are all the topics we have to be learned for our examination purpose from unit number 2.
Sir, what is, sir, here, sir, period of revolution, sir?
So the period of a revolution is the rotation, one complete oscillation, one complete rotation.
Of sun, sir.
Yeah, Maya, it takes rotation. So it's rotate, I think. It's rotate.
But, sir, sun is just stationary, sir.
No,
Planets move around it.
No, actually the planet moves around the sun. The planets move
Yes.
around the sun. But it's not possible. It's not possible. It's predicted from that earlier just principles that the revolution takes place once every, see, mention that point. The revolution takes place once every 250 million year, but it's not happens. It's not happens. If it happens, then the complete collapse will be takes place in the universe. Just
Yes.
a prediction. It's a prediction only, but it's
Yes.
not possible. It's not happens, but they have predicted that it will be rotate, it will be change, it will be orbit, the attraction will be changes, the gravitational phenomena will be modified once 250 million years, but it's not happened so far.
Yes.
So that's the thing.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, with this we just conclude our class.